training again before the end of the season?
Well, we hope so. I don't know, obviously he needs to go through a procedure. Yeah, that's a big blow.
It's a very challenging moment when you have an injury. Sometimes you don't feel part of the squad when you're outside. From feeling very important in the team, from playing as a striker, then midfielder, scoring goals, then suddenly big injury and you are out of the picture. Mentally, it's hard to cope with it. When we had the diagnosis, it was a very tough day. I remember going back home and having a very tough time with my wife. The doctors said that we had two options, either have surgery or not have surgery and try and see how the foot responded. My feeling was that I had pain and probably I would have to be out for a couple of weeks, but I didn't expect to be told that I was going to be out for 5-6 months. You have two options, cry or try to get the best out of it, and I chose to use the second one.
In January, we found out that Mikel had fractured one of the bones in his foot, and it's quite an unusual bone to fracture. So, yeah, we consulted some of the best people in the country, and they basically agreed that the best management option was to surgically fixate it. So that basically involves obviously going into theatre and basically putting 2 screws across the fracture site, which basically acts as a scaffold to stabilise it.
At the beginning, when I decided I wanted to have surgery, I was very scared. I was hoping I would have gone through my career with no major surgeries, and I don't want to live it again, that's for sure. But the experience was not as traumatic as I thought it was going to be, and honestly, everything went perfect.
Wonderful, 4-0, and Arsenal take another step towards the promised land. A statement win.
North London remains red, 3 points to move 5 clear at the summit once more. 28 Premier League games down, 10 to go. Arsenal it is to go marching on. The Gunners pass another massive test this season.
Massive win for the title race. Arsenal are 7 points clear.
Owen to wrap things up for Arsenal. It is double figures at the top of the Premier League for Arsenal. 10 points clear at the top.
Just the smell on the sun, not being in a booth or in a crutch or inside, indoors. It's just so good mentally. Sometimes it can be tough because you feel like you're not part of the process. But yeah, you have to remind yourself and have people around you to support you and remind you that you are a big part of this process. The physios, the S&C guys, they have a very important job, not only in preparing you physically, but understanding your character, understanding what type of player you are, and use this time to try and improve my weaknesses as a player and, you know, come back as a better version of myself.
7. Thing stands, Arsenal will be 3 points clear of Manchester City. It is an anxious wait. And Arsenal will feel as though anything else other than 3 points will be a missed opportunity here. Here's Martin Odegaard. Oh, they could use some of his inspiration now. Odegaard for Rice, back with Martin Odegaard. And Trossard! Leandro Trossard has tightened Arsenal's grip on the Premier League trophy. Everyone forward now for West Ham, including their goalkeeper Manson. It's up towards him. Raya didn't get there. It's crossed the line. West Ham United are able to equalise. They are appealing, but David Raya was held inside his 6-yard box.
After review, West Ham number 19 commits a foul on the goalkeeper. Final decision is direct free kick.
Goal overturned. So Arsenal retain their lead. Three massive points, and now just 2 more games to go on the quest for Premier League glory. Now, all attention can go on Burnley and Crystal Palace. 2 more to go. Full time at the London Stadium. It's West Ham United 0, Arsenal 1.
It was mad, crazy stuff, huh? My baby was sleeping, and my wife was taking care of the baby, and then Leo scored. Yeah. I couldn't help but shout my lungs out. The baby woke up. I'll tell you, my wife was not happy. The VAR, those 5 minutes, yeah, my heart dropped. I was so nervous. Wow. Suffering. Now I understand all the fans when they're home and they can't do anything but pray. Because when you're on the pitch, everything goes like smoother. You know, you're not as worried. You're just thinking, focus on the game. When you're at home watching it on TV, it's the worst feeling ever.
Just whilst I'm getting it loaded up, just do a few at 60. So this is just testing adductor strength, this one. We did it a few days ago, and his scores were a little bit low, but it was after a couple of days on feet, so he was a bit fatigued. So he's had 2 days off feet now, so we'll give him a go to do it when he's in a fresh.
Good evening and welcome to Girona. We understand there were some issues with accessing the stream in the first half, so we really do apologise for that. But it is just great to have you with us now ahead of the second 45 minutes. I suppose we should probably catch you up with what you may have missed from the first 45 minutes. The Gunners leading by 2-0. This lovely bit of play in midfield by Max Dowman, setting up Kai Havertz, running through on goal. He was never going to miss, Perry.
Yeah, it was brilliant play from Max Dowman, using his body really well. Moreno just getting a little bit too tight, and Dowman just making sure that the pass is perfect. Kai Havertz just gets out of his feet. Gyökeres is in the middle thinking, you're going to just like square it to me, I'll tap it in the empty net. But there was no way that Havertz wasn't going to take a shot. And you have to say with Max Dowman, for the first sort of 10-15 minutes, Moreno was very good with him getting tight, but he needs one flash of brilliance, exactly what we saw.
Over on the opposite side, it was Crystal Solis making his first start for the Gunners in front of Arsenal fans. He was lively, he was buzzing throughout, he was tracking back, and he got his reward for all of that hard work here as well.
Yeah, we've just seen Martinez, the Girona right back, just dropping off a little bit too deep into his 18-yard box. That means Solis is in control. Just cuts inside with his right foot. Looks like it took a little deflection off Francis to give Gazzaniga absolutely no chance in Girona's goal. You have to say, you know, it was a bit scrappy the first sort of 10 minutes, and after that we started to get in a bit of a rhythm. and we dominated the rest of the half.
So both of those goals coming within the first half hour here in Spain. It's worth pointing out as well that there was a hydration break, a cooling break during that period. There were the pre-planned changes. So Victor Gyökeres, Kai Havertz and Piero Hincapié all withdrawn due to the managing the workload that they had from the World Cup. So Marley Simon, Fabio Vieira and Gabriel Jesus came on in their places. We will see just how many other substitutions there are to come ahead of this second half. But within that first 45 minutes, Miles Lewis-Skelly also impressed you at the base of Arsenal's midfield.
Yeah, very much so. He got himself on the ball. He was conducting everything, with his baton, just making sure he ticked over really nicely. The one thing that really impressed me is when you're playing in that deeper midfield role, you've got to do your defensive duties. And there was an instant where Donny van de Beek, the number 10, well, he's number 6, but he's playing in 10 position with Girona. He made a long run from the centre to the right-hand side of the 18-yard box. And off the ball, we could see that Miles Lewis-Skelly just tracked him all the way in. And that's what he has to do. We know how good he is on the ball, but he's got to make sure that he does his defensive duties. On the left-hand side, you mentioned about Christos Solis. Looked very lively. When he was getting it, he looked, very confident. So he's 1v1 with Martinez. We saw there when he scored his goal. Took a couple of set pieces, which were half decent. And he just looked, which is really positive for him, obviously making his debut, even though it's pre-season. He looked comfortable. He looked comfortable with his players that are around him, and it didn't look too much for him, which can happen when you're going up to one of the biggest clubs in the world.
So Marta Huerta is our referee. She wasn't too heavily involved in the first half. It was quite free-flowing here in Girona. And it is the hosts who get us back underway for this second 45 minutes. I suppose, Perry, the silver lining of all of this is that you get to recycle all of the jokes from the first half that were maybe missed.
I've been recycling them all season, so we really haven't missed much, to be honest.
We're on the first game of pre-season. He's already going back to old material. Yes, Fabio Vieira thumps that one back goalwards for Kepa. And a tiny bit of pressure, is able to clear his lines up towards the bleach blonde Gabriel Jesus. And here's Fran Beltran, summer arrival from Celta Vigo. Girona prepare for life back in Segunda, the second tier of Spanish football.
It's been a bit of a fall from grace, isn't it, from Girona? Mentioned before, Max, that they had the highest finish in their history. Came third, didn't they? Got themselves in the Champions League, which we played in, was it January 2025?
2-1 victory here, in the Champions League phase. It's the only time that they've ever been involved in Europe's most prestigious tournament, and since then, a relegation following a 19th place finish out of 20 teams in La Liga last season. There are a few familiar faces among their ranks, this being one of them, Brian Hill, you may remember from his exploits at the other end of the Seven Sisters Road.
Yeah, he was a £20 million player, wasn't he, for that mob up the road, or other end of the Seven Sisters Road, Max, where you want to put it, and couldn't really make his mark, could he? Didn't really get in the team. Went on quite a few loans. Obviously, he's ended up at Girona, and obviously with other Premier League players. Moreno playing at left back, ex Aston Villa. Gazaniga in goal, obviously, for that one up the road as well. And Donny van de Beek, who was once a £35 million player, obviously at Manchester United.
Yeah, van de Beek especially has struggled with injury, ruptured his Achilles last season, missed a lot of football, played just 2 games across the course of the campaign. Just a reminder that Girona are much further advanced in their pre-season preparations than the Gunners. This is the 4th of their 6 pre-season fixtures. Arsenal, of course, first of 5. The hosts do begin their Segunda campaign in a little under 2 weeks' time, compared to the luxury of 3 that Arsenal have before that opening game against Coventry City. What an occasion that will be, by the way. Friday nights under the lights at Emirates Stadium to kick off the new Premier League season at the home of the champions.
The Premier League champions. How good does that sound? And by the way, it's Frank Lampard's Coventry City.
Looking for the run of Christos Solis, who has shown A really bright spark of acceleration on the left-hand side, but even someone with his pace is going to be asking a lot of. Here's Kim. Moreno. Away by Marley Salmon. It was an uncomfortable one for him to deal with, but the right decision.
Yeah, it's good defending from Marley Salmon. Sometimes you have to defend areas and not go with men. Obviously, Van Aert has come a little bit short there. So is if you're Moreno on that left-back position, you want your centre forward in the middle of the goal. Just see Hill just coming in from the right-hand side, trying to get in that centre forward position, but good defending from Marley Salmon.
So the first set piece then of this second half goes Girona's way. In from Brian Hill. Mosquera and Salmon both climbing there. Van Aert trying to tease one in. Frances was rising.
Yeah, I think Van Aert maybe just got caught in between. Was he trying to bend it inside Kepa's right-hand post or just trying a little cross in the end, sort of in between, say there, Francis actually pretending he was somewhere near it, but he wasn't, probably about a yard away, but got a little deflection. Kim take the corner.
Mosquera, that one's a brilliant ball in, and it was a thunderous header from the captain, Arnau Martinez. Well, they barely had a sniff at Kepa's goal in the first half, but since the interval, they've come out with renewed optimism. And it's their captain who has absolutely punched that into the far corner.
Mikel Arteta will be tearing his hair out because he prides himself on not only attacking set pieces but defensive set piece where on defending from corners. It's a really good delivery from Kim from that left-hand side, in swinging with his right foot, and no one's picking up. Martinez just gets a free run, and once he's got a free run, even though we've gone a little bit zonal across that 6-yard box, you've got no chance. Brilliantly timed run from Martinez, a really good header, just redirects it, uses the pace of the cross, gives Kepa absolutely no chance to get Girona back in the game at 1-2 down.
Well, that has made it a bit livelier here inside this sellout 14,000 capacity stadium. 1,000 Arsenal fans among them, or at least 1,000 who are registered as away fans. I'm sure when Arsenal do come to town, those replica shirts do come out in the home end as well for pre-season friendlies.
Yeah, they just started a little bit faster, Girona, in this beginning this second half. So we dominated probably from, you know, sort of the 15th minute onwards with possession. We can tell that they've had the proverbial maybe little flea in their ear from the manager, just to say that he needs them, you know, to step up. This is their 4th pre-season game. They should have more miles in their legs. And Miles Lewis-Skelly just buying the free kick.
And he's been doing that really well throughout this whole evening, Miles Lewis-Skelly. It's a point that you picked up on in the first half, Perry, just how good these Highland youngsters are at using their body, positioning it in the right way to fashion those fouls, but also create those opportunities that we saw from Max Dowman to set up Kai Havertz's opening goal here this evening.
Yeah, you can tell that they work on like the body angles, working to make sure that they use the weight of their body really well.
He's done it again here, it's Max Dowman! Well, he doesn't need a second invitation. This boy is special. An assist to his name already. And this time he's able to take the glory for himself.
Yeah, Max Dowman, he says that's just what I do. Just cuts inside, just palms off Moreno initially. Just cuts inside onto his left foot, 20 yards out. Looks like the goal might be disallowed for the foul on Moreno. Just before Max Dowman ended up picking the ball again. That's probably the 3rd or 4th time Moreno's actually gone down and pretended that he's got a bad injury. So just going to see what Marta Huerta, the referee, has decided.
Brian Hill continues his protests, but Marta Huerta quite happy for that goal to stand, and not too happy with the appeals from the home side. Alex Moreno still deep in discussion.
But he's been going to the floor too easily in that first half, and now he's just been punished because the referee, Marta Huerta, probably thinks, well, you keep throwing yourself to the floor. And we just saw in the replay, Max Dowman was really cute because he just sort of palmed him off. You know, when you just push like your marker away, which he did, and I thought he hit him in the chest, but he's gone to the floor like he's been hit on the head with a lift. Which is just picking the ball up in that inside right position, just cutting in on his left foot. And he just makes it look so easy. And, you know, when he just puts it in the back of the net, gives Gazzaniga absolutely no chance low down to the left-hand side. It's just like, that's just what I do.
The Premier League's youngest ever scorer, the Premier League's youngest ever champion. He, of course, was used perhaps a bit cautiously at times as an impact sub last season. Mikel Arteta very sensible with how he used a 15, 16-year-old in the top flight of English football. This one's going to break here for Gabriel Jesus. A poacher's finish to take this game well away from Girona. And it's good to see a smile back on Gabriel Jesus' face.
Yeah, it's a really good finish. Just over elaboration from Girona, just trying to play out from the back. Gets a little deflection. Jesus is completely unmarked in the 18-yard box. So he's just coming to play out back from Lopez. Just tries to play into midfield. Into Moreno, who's come into that inverted position. Just gets a little block in. Comes Jesus. And again, no hesitation. First time, gives Gazzaniga absolutely no chance. Smashes it low past him. That's the game done and dusted. And basically what Girona have done is, with Martinez scoring his header to make it 2-1, just poked the bear with a sharp stick and just made sure that we've had to step up another gear. It's exactly what we've done.
They certainly have. 5 goals already in the opening game of pre-season. He's been a hugely transformative figure, hasn't he? Gabriel Jesus under Mikel Arteta. I think him and Zinchenko coming in really raised the level a few seasons ago.
Well, that's why they was brought in, for that winning mentality. Obviously, Arteta knew him from his days at Man City, winning the Premier League title with them. And it's not just about on the match days, it's about how they conduct themselves in training, in and around the training ground, what they do on their nutrition and do their diets, and, you know, how they prepare themselves all through the week. And then that rubs off, that winning mentality actually rubs off on the rest of the teammates.
Moreno gives the ball away again. Recovered well by Vladislav Vanat. And here's Kim. Able to step inside and go for goal. That one straight at Kepa.
Yeah, to be fair, the main threat has come down left-hand side, Girona.
Now it comes down Arsenal's left with Solis. Dowman waiting for support from White before floating one in himself, and Jesus left that.
Yeah, just a little bit of lack of communication there between Francis and Gazzaniga, the Girona goalkeeper. So Dowman just trying to ease it in. Maybe Gabriel Jesus and gamble a little bit and get himself in front of Francis. So a little bit of a panic up. Just going out to Kim again on that left-hand side, cutting inside Ben White, and needs to get a little bit tighter. Should be starting the ball outside Kepa's left-hand post by about a yard, but again, just bends it into him. Simple save.
Big challenge in the air there from Mosquera on Vanat. And the referee more than happy to have a bit of physicality in this game. Excellent tracking back, Max Dowman at both ends of the pitch.
That's what you have to do to get in this Arsenal side. We've seen how brilliant he's going forward with the assist for Kai Havertz's opening goal, and his brilliant finish with his left foot for his own goal to put us 3-1 up. But you have to do your work off the ball, and exactly we saw Solis do it in the first half. Lewis Skelly as well, doing his defensive duties. Max Dowman doing the exact same there. Van Aert just trying to make that run from the centre out to the left-hand side. And Max Dowman just eased him off.
Oh, that one is loose though. And Kepper came to Dowman's rescue.
Van Aert there didn't really look convinced that it's just a little bit too lackadaisy from Max Dowman. Just Van Aert 1v1 with Kepper. Kepper making sure that he doesn't commit himself, and he actually says to Van Aert, "You've got to beat me. I'm not going to make your mind up." Just stays nice and big, you know, a la Peter Schmeichel. So Van Aert tries to dink it over him, but just a little reminder there. Obviously, Max Dowman just got to make sure that you're always switched on.
Girona preparing a whole host of changes on the hour mark, and this may be the perfect chance to signpost those. Henry tripping Brian Hill in midfield. So with them being relegated to Segunda, they are very heavily reliant on their academy, so there will be a number of different Girona B players coming on, the most notable of which is number 34. You may notice him towering above the others. That is Alexander Pressure. He's 6'8", not a prolific striker by any means, but certainly will be a handful when the ball is coached forward. Five of them leaving the field. We will focus instead on the Arsenal changes coming on. Ife Ibrahim, one of them. Reece Nelson as well. Cabia entering the fray too. Nice for Girona to keep Arsenal on their toes. It's nice for Mikel Arteta to keep us on ours as well.
Yeah, it's just about managing the minutes. Just making sure, obviously, last half an hour that you have they're not subs anymore, Max, are they? They're impactors now.
Finishes is the phrase, isn't it, in rugby? I regret to borrow any language from that sport, but we're back underway. So very different 11s finishing this game to the ones that started. Gabriel Jesus taking on the captain's armband from Ben White. As Reece Nelson moves across to the left-hand side midfield. There's a bit of space opening up here for Martinez. Great ball across. And Ruiz was denied by Ian Meslier on his Arsenal debut.
Yeah, his first touch from Ruiz, just making sure he's in that centre-forward position. Just comes out to Martinez on this right-hand side. It's a really good ball in that corridor of uncertainty. Ruiz should be scoring. Good save from Kepa down to his left-hand side.
It's back in towards the box. Meslier stayed and then threw a right arm towards that for the second time in quick succession. He shows his quick reflexes.
Yeah, for sure. You said about the big centre-forward coming on. I think, was he 6'8"? Obviously getting his first touch. Really good head up. Brilliant save from Kepa. Low down to his right-hand side.
Marley Salmon. There's Josh Ogonaike. He's a left-back who can also play at centre-back as well, but he's run into trouble there. They're finding Abel Ruiz.
Yeah, Ogonaike just playing in that left-back position, coming off for Calafiori. He can play as a centre-half as well, Max Carney, so you know he's very versatile.
Given away though by Martin. He's pounced upon by Andre Harriman-Anus, who won't be a stranger to many of the Arsenal fans tuning in here. A couple of senior appearances last season. He's won the Gunners a free kick in a really promising position.
Yeah, just Martin coming in there, just a little bit late. Yeah, just seeing that chance again for Pressure. Really good delivery from the left-hand side from Hill. Pressure thinks he's going to score. It's a brilliant save from Kepelo down to his right-hand side.
Avui som a un nucli 13.540 espectadors.
Reece Nelson sent Gabriel Jesus away. You can see the really imposing figure there of Peshore in the Girona wall. I suppose either side of him, it's a much easier shot on goal. It is Nelson and it's straight into Peshore.
Yeah, Pressure just doing his job. Second man in from that left-hand side of the wall. Actually, I would actually put him on the end of the wall, you know, to make him a bigger presence, but Reece Nelson not being able to bend it past him.
Here's Cabia. Finding Copley, more naturally suited to playing in central midfield, but he will happily do a role at right back for the Arsenal first team. Lovely turn of pace by Cabia. Copley, pulled back for Jesus. Neatly worked by Arsenal's youngsters over on that far side.
Yeah, good link-up play with Cabia and Copley. Copley making sure he's making that little run. Inverted down that right-hand side. Really good pullback from Jesus. Jesus should be hitting the target. Misses it. He'll be really disappointed. Obviously, it hasn't added to his goal that he got just a little bit earlier. To put us 4-1 up.
On, encouraging the run forward from Martinez. It was well covered by Ogunaki. See
Ibrahim there just going to play at that base of the midfield. Just replacing Miles Lewis-Skelly. Ogunaki did really well. Again, just making sure that you on cover.
Hayden O'Neill is number 53 for Arsenal. He's playing a lot more central than perhaps he's used to. Actually made his Northern Ireland debut in a World Cup warm-up for France. So 18 years old, he has a taste of senior international football behind him. She scored 15 goals across all academy competitions last season, so certainly one to keep an eye on in the Arsenal attack.
He's got a couple of caps, isn't he, for Northern Ireland at 18. It's not bad. Little taste of international football.
Braden Clark, son of former Scotland international Nigel Quasi.
QPR legend.
Portsmouth, Southampton. Off goes Cabia. Struggling to keep pace with him out on that far side. Ibrahim for Harry Mananous. There's Copley. They were queuing up on the edge of the penalty area. Jesus and Reece Nelson.
Just one thing you say with the Hale End products, you see Ibrahim there. They've come in obviously playing for the first team. They'll be a little bit nervous. Every one of them looks very comfortable on the ball. Every single one of them, you know, very good technique. Just moving the ball nice and quickly, not trying to overcomplicate things. See Marley Salmon there, just trying to, you know, dictate to the players in front of him. Wants a little bit more movement.
Nelson, much more of a senior figure now compared with the level of experience of those around him. It's important to remember he came through the Arsenal Academy. It's been 9 years since he made his senior debut. Harry Mananous tried to hang one up to that far post. Nelson wasn't in the position and it floats out. And behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was the right idea from Haramananus. Just get himself to the byline. When you get to the byline, you've got to make sure you just dink it to the far post. Couldn't quite wrap his foot around it.
Good news is, Perry, there's another 5 changes for the home side as
Keep you on your toes.
Kike Alvarez, the manager, looks to integrate some of the younger players. Players that he would have worked with last season, last couple of seasons when he was in charge of their B team. He actually works alongside his brother Oscar. Both of them having come through the famed Amasia Academy in Barcelona. It was a couple of age groups actually ahead of Mikel Arteta, so they never crossed paths there. They do share the same footballing education and, I'm sure, ideologies.
I was just going to say that I thought that the referee, Marta Huerta, refereed the game really well. Then she gives a soft free kick for sure. Obviously, Miley Salmon just trying to nick in front of him.
Ivan Martin.
Yeah, Martin will just go a little bit deep in midfield. Likes to be the playmaker. See if he can get Girona ticking over.
Gabriel Mizahoy, who was trying to break forward. He is Dutch under-19 international. And there you see the legendary figure that is Christian Stuani. 39 years old now. His contract expired at the end of last season. He delayed his decision, he waited, and then he decided he was going to stay for another campaign at least. 148 goals for Girona in 312 games, and that is why there is that bit more of a party atmosphere here inside this stadium.
Well, the game has been far from boring. Normally, if it's a bit boring, that's when you get the Mexican wave. So the Girona fan decided just to keep himself entertained.
Well, here is another cooling break, so just another apology to those of you who weren't able to tune in for the first 45 minutes. We really are sorry about the technical issues that prevented you from seeing Arsenal taking a 2-goal lead in this game. We have, however, had 3 since the restart, so hopefully you don't feel too short-changed for goals at least as this game goes on. And you can see the entertainment is being provided by the 14,000 in the stands here in Girona, as Mikel Arteta can just get his young team together and issue a few tactical tweaks, some tinkering, just making sure everyone stays honest right until the end of this game.
Well, the thing as well, obviously we've seen a lot of the younger players come on, you know, the academy players, and obviously Arteta will be giving his instructions because we know he's, you know, is very, very, has a big attention to detail, and he'll be giving out instructions just to see if these younger players actually take them on. You know what I mean? All the top players, you need only tell them once what's expected of them. You see Martin is there getting Girona back into the game at 2-1. Free header, which Arteta won't be very happy about. See Miles Lewis-Skelly just getting the ball into Max Dowman, just cutting in on his left foot. Again, he just made it look so easy. I think Girona wanted a free kick with a little push from Dowman on Moreno. Quite rightly, the referee, Marta Huerta, didn't give it. And then we saw Girona just trying to play out from the back, with Lopez trying to put it into Moreno, and we nick it, comes to Jesus, and he just smacks it past Gazaniga to put us 4-1 up.
Haramananus is trying to feed Gabriel Jesus, and Girona just at odds and ends at the back at the moment. It is a young and an unsettled back line.
Well, Jakubishvili didn't really look particularly comfortable when the ball came into him. He didn't really want it. He said his wrong body angle and he's back to play. That enabled us to close him down.
Someone who is incredibly highly rated by Girona, Ishvili. She has a younger brother who plays at Barcelona in goal. Here it comes from Nelson. Not sure that was the intention of that header by the Girona defender, but it did eventually work its way into the grateful hands of Vladislav Krapitsyov. And here's Garcia. Well tackled by Louis Copley.
Yeah, Garcia just trying to cut in from that left-hand side. Again, we said about even the academy graduates have to make sure they do the defensive duties. Copley did really well. For sure, just trying to cut in from that left-hand side. Roll the ball across the 6-yard box to Abel Ruiz. Just needs to put a little bit more pace on it. Simple save from Melier.
Ibrahim. A number of these youngsters are also involved. As an Arsenal 11 played against Boreham Wood last month. 1-1 draw at Meadow Park.
Really good play from Ibrahim. Just looked very, very comfortable on the ball, just dropping in that centre-half position. There's nothing on, so he just made sure that he actually just carried the ball forward. You see him there, just looking to get himself on the ball, always making himself available. And then he gives the ball away. Commentator's curse, get him off.
He's an ever-present Ibrahim last season for the academy sides. He was rewarded as well for his fine work for them by making his senior debut as a very late substitute in the league phase win over Kairat at Emirates Stadium. Nelson. Aaron Anous on the overlap. Nelson can clip that one in. It was O'Neill who was jumping, and that one's come off the frame of the goal.
Reece Nelson just picking him up on that left-hand side, cutting in inside Jordana. Just come on for Girona in the right back position. He gave the ball away initially. Reece Nelson just trying to ease it into the 18-yard box. Comes up to O'Neill. Just gets up nice and early, but can't quite get himself over the top of the ball. Just shaves the crossbar. Doesn't trouble the goalkeeper whatsoever.
Back by Ibrahim. There's Jesus. The man who grabbed the 4th goal for Arsenal. Cabia. Sees his chances again to get down the byline.
Cabia just trying to get himself on the outside of the Badia. Just maybe touch, which is a little bit too far out of his feet. You know, just trying to get his right foot around it, just slides off. Just smacks himself into the advertising board.
Hefty collision, that one, for Ismail Cabia. He was a regular during his loan spell at Shrewsbury in League 2 last season. He played a variety of roles for them, mainly at right back or right wing back as they deployed their back three. Still off the pitch, receiving treatment. So Arsenal will play on with 10.
Yeah, very shrewd there from Copley, just making sure he's getting his ball in between him and Justin Garcia.
We used to call that one the Granit Xhaka.
Yep, just put your body across. Make sure you have a big sort of V shape, obviously with your legs. And Garcia, again, needlessly giving away a cheap free kick.
Salmon can get there ahead of Pichot. Certainly hear him making good ground behind. Nelson. A frustrating loan spell for him last season at Brentford. Didn't really get a look in.
We was talking earlier as well. He make his debut under Arsene Wenger.
2017. It's been a long time. He has been around the Arsenal senior setup, Reece Nelson. Of course, there have been some magnificent moments in there. The Bournemouth goal. Game against Nottingham Forest as well. He'll certainly be one out there looking to kick on now into the final year of his Arsenal contract. Martin. No delivery this time for Brady to deal with. It was Ruiz who's gone to ground, and once again Marta Huerta is unmoved.
Yeah, just a little ball in from that left-hand side from Garcia. I actually think that Clark didn't really know that Ruiz was behind him. I think if there was a VAR, which obviously none of us are big fans of, are we, Max? I think that might have had a referral, and that might have been given as a penalty.
Tell you what, we were big fans of it at the London Stadium.
It's foul all day long. Can't put your hands on the goalkeeper, especially when he's trying to catch the ball.
Into the final 10 minutes then.
You understand me, the pace of the game.
Has dipped, but here's a chance for Alexander Pishaw. Straight at Faye Ibrahim.
Yeah, sloppy there from Reece Nelson. Get himself caught on the ball, comes out to Pishaw. He looked dangerous since he's come on for Girona. Gets his shot away. But Ibrahim in that holding midfield role, making sure again that he protects his two centre-halves. Goes and closes the ball down, gets the block in. But this is what happens in, obviously, this is our first pre-season game, Girona's fourth. You know, it's understandable that the pace of the game just drops a little bit, even though you've got a lot of, obviously, fresh legs that are coming on. But if you bring on, you know, 8, 9, 10 substitutions, you ain't going to get that rhythm, you know, you ain't going to get that understanding between players in the team. But you've got to make sure as an individual that you're not the one that gets sloppy, you're not the one that gives the ball away.
Should mention this pre-season friendly is being played for silverware. It's the Costa Brava Trophy, the 49th edition of it, going all the way back to 1970. There will be a presentation to the winner at the end of the game on the pitch. And at the moment, Girona have an awful lot of work to do if they are to retain the trophy here. Slipped through really neatly. Mizahoy it was whose shot was charged down. Here's Ivan Martin. Oh, clever ball over the top, and it was Meslier who was required to make the save again. Make that 3 good stops inside his penalty area on his Arsenal debut.
Great little ball from Martin. Just a little dinked left foot, little pitching wedge. So Ruiz just making sure that he gets inside his marker, and again he should be scoring. Really good save from Meslier. He said probably about his third big save that he's made.
Nice bit of skill on the left-hand side, and calmly dealt with by Josh Ogunnaike.
I mean, just looking at Copley, who's normally a midfield player, playing in the right back position. You can just tell there that he's not used to playing at right back because his body shape is completely wrong. He wasn't aware that Abel Ruiz was just going to make that run inside him. So had 3 big chances. Ruiz hasn't managed to take one, but look lively since he's come on.
He played 11 times last season, didn't score a single goal. In fact, you have to go all the way back to February 2025 for the last time that Girona's number 9 scored a goal in competitive football. I think it's quite easy to see why. Although he's emerged with possession here. Fisher pointing where he wants it. Ruiz may go alone. And he was well matched, stride for stride, by Braden Clark.
Yeah, Braden Clark getting his fellow graduate Copley out of trouble there. Because Ruiz just picking the ball up on that left-hand side, just coming inside. Clark making sure again he goes and closes the ball down. So the game just got a little bit scrappy. You know, it's lost its rhythm, which is understandable. But from the younger players that are coming on, you want to make sure, you know, you make a statement, you make your mark on the game. For Ibrahim has looked very, very comfortable in possession.
There are going to be 3 more players coming on. So you'd have seen on the left-hand side, it's the 2 remaining outfielders for Arsenal who are yet to join the action. Damien Augustien and Theo Julien will both be coming onto the pitch, but there will be a massive cheer for the return of Christian Stuani. He'll be made to wait that bit longer while Gabriel Jesus makes way. It's Pichot who is withdrawn for Stuani.
It's the sub being subbed. Obviously, Jesus coming on for Victor Gyökeres. Getting the 4th goal, really good finish with his right foot, just putting the game to bed.
And Louis Copley making way for Theo Julien, who is a champion playing at right back. He can also play in midfield as well. And if Arsenal do get a throw-in inside the Girona half, don't be surprised to see him run across the pitch to take it. He can launch them into the penalty area.
Good trajectory. It's not a looping long throw.
I would say it would have been very quickly identified by Nicolas Jover. Into the final 5 then.
Giordano's made a difference when he's coming on in this right back position. Just making sure he's got himself on the ball a lot. Just, you know, just going in that inverted, just to put that extra body in midfield.
Izan Gonzalez trying to float one over the top, and Mizohoy won't be able to keep that one in.
There's a single pass from Gonzalez. We've just got to ease it out.
Back for Clark, who can send this one long downfield towards Harriman Anous. And there's O'Neill again. Strong challenge on him by Justin Garcia.
O'Neill just get himself caught on the ball, but just saw a little glimpse of the confidence playing out from the back. And Marley Salmon just into Ibrahim in that centre midfield area, then out to the right-hand side. Clark just get himself caught on the ball.
I mentioned it in the first half, Perry, but it is easy to overlook just what a great season Marley Salmon had last time out, because was, I don't want to say the word overshadowed because that maybe diminishes his own achievements, but Max Dowman took so much of the spotlight due to his goals and his exciting attacking performances. I know, like, as a former attacker yourself.
I think Marta Huerta, the referee, is the 8-second rule.
Yeah, too long taken by Meslier. So that means a corner for Girona.
I think it's Marta Huerta just thinking, I just need to make my mark on the game here, put me 5 seconds up.
Flat delivery towards the near post, and this time it will be Arsenal's, and I'm sure they won't make the same mistake twice. But just to go back to Marley Salmon, it's quite easy to forget. He made 4 senior appearances as a first-year scholar. Started in the FA Cup 5th round. Huge achievement for someone who's 15, 16 years old. He's not 17 until the end of this month.
At any other time, he would be the star academy product, wouldn't he, coming through? So I think is where it might do him a bit of favour, obviously, because Max Dowman, understandably, is taking all of the plaudits, being only 16 and a half, getting his worldie goal against Everton, just putting his mark on our first team. That, and his name was Marley Salmon, just to ease himself in. We've just seen him, obviously, he came on in the first half, just looked very, very comfortable in possession, looks very assured. I like the way that he actually dominates the players in front of him. If there's not enough movement for his midfield players, he actually points out where he wants them to go. They should be coming and get the ball off him. If it doesn't work, then he'll just turn away, make sure he keeps in possession.
Jordana. Gonzalez. Time running out for Girona. If they are to get something from this match, even if it is just another goal.
Good defensive play from Caballero, just making sure that he does his job for the team.
And there it is then, a comprehensive victory for Mikel Arteta over his fellow countryman Quique Alvarez. And more importantly, he will be delighted to have seen all of his players get through the game unscathed. Some of them showing really promising, positive, encouraging performances as well. We spoke about the senior players who had half an hour of action before they were substituted, rotated, given a breather, but the youngsters really, really shining this evening.
Yeah, very much so. We mentioned obviously about Marley Salmon coming on and just looking very assured in the left side centre-half position. I was impressed with Ibrahim, in that sort of, shall we say, the last sort of 25 minutes, playing the centre midfield, getting himself on the ball, and going into the first half of Christos Solis, making his debut in inverted commas for Arsenal, in the first team. Looked very, very lively. The time that he was on the pitch, and obviously scored a really good goal, cutting in from that left-hand side, just smashing with his right foot past Gazaniga to put us 2-0 up. So he'll be absolutely, when you're a new signing, you just want to make sure that you look and feel comfortable. It's exactly what he did. Did he defensive duties? And say, understandably, towards the end of the game, he got a little bit bitty, a bit fragmented, because obviously the amount of finishers that are brought on, you don't have those relationships with the players in and around you. But I'm just very impressed with, I mentioned about Ibrahim, on the ball. Cabia, I thought he looked really lively on that right-hand side. So, yeah, they look very, very assured in possession, these younger players that are coming in. And trust me, it's nervous. They're playing in and around the first team. Obviously, like world superstars. So they're just, taking on all the information, absorbing everything that goes on around them. And it's part of their development, and obviously all the coaches at Hale End will be very, very proud of, the players that they've been bringing through.
Well, that was Max Dowman putting it on a plate for Kai Havertz. He still had a lot to do, bearing down on goal. Lots of time to think about his finish, but we know Kai is more than happy with those situations. Then it was worked out to the left-hand side. Solis making his mark on his Arsenal debut. Girona came out fighting from the interval. That one hammered into the top corner from the heads of Martinez. But then Arsenal hit straight back within 3 minutes. Drop of the shoulder from Max Dowman. He was picked out between the lines by fellow Hale-ender Miles Lewis-Skelly. Head down, bearing down on goal. Only one thing on his mind, and he managed to dispatch that one beyond Gazaniga in the goal. And then It went from bad to worse for Girona, but from good to great for Arsenal as Gabriel Jesus was able to pounce inside the penalty area and make it 4-1 to the Gunners, who will now be presented with the trophy that was up for grabs this evening, marking the 150th anniversary of Estrella Dam. The Costa Brava Trophy, the 49th time Girona have hosted this exhibition match, sometimes taking the form of tournaments, sometimes just a one-off game. Today it's the latter. There is a Player of the Match award in that as well. Kai Havertz, the recipient of that for opening the scoring for the Gunners this evening.
Yeah, he looked very, very fluid, Kai Havertz. You know that obviously he's confident in his body now. Obviously the World Cup behind him as well. You could tell that, you know, he's had a lot of minutes in his legs. There's no doubt that he was going to score when he was 1v1 with Gazzaniga. He had a great little Cruyff flick as well when it comes to on the edge of the box, just to get it into Victor Gyökeres. So their link-up play was very good. Just a little bit of a laugh and a joke with Mikel Arteta and Kai Havertz there.
Girona, last season, they managed to beat Wolverhampton Wanderers here by 2-1 to win the trophy last time around, as Christian Stuani is presented with his own individual award.
Is that the Legend Trophy?
I think that might be Thank You for Staying. 39 now, entering his 10th season with this side as they return to Segunda División next season. And now we will see the Arsenal players begin to head up to the stage. Slightly more understated than
Did someone have to remind Ben White that he was captain and he's got to come and get the trophy?
Well, they knew exactly what they were doing at Selhurst Park, didn't they, when they lifted the Premier League trophy. This one, a bit more of a mismatch of players in there, but the smiles still the same. Those youngsters having a phenomenal experience at the end of this first leg of pre-season. A training camp in Girona, and Arsenal are the Costa Brava Trophy champions in 2026.
Was that a little bit of half-hearted trophy lift, do you think? Players didn't really know whether they were going to raise their hands, whether they were going to shout, you know, whether they were going to have a bit of a cheer.
There's always the fear, isn't there, that they seem to be celebrating these pre-season trophies too much, but as Mikel Arteta outlined in his pre-match interviews, it's all about excellence this season. These are the sorts of things, no matter the size of the trophy, you just want to go out there, you want to win, get in the habit of winning these competitions and making sure that you are treating even friendlies with as much professionalism as possible, and that's what Arsenal did this evening.
You're still under pressure because obviously Girona have been relegated to Segunda Division in Spain, and you know that if you get beat by Girona, that's going to be news. That's going to be like not national news, that would be world news. You know, if you slip up against the second division team from Spain, and obviously this was their 4th pre-season game. You know, they had a little bit more in their legs, but I think after the first 10 minutes we got into the rhythm, and winning breeds winning, and it is about striving, it is about standards, and I think Mikel Arteta will be really happy with definitely with the first sort of hour, 65 minutes. It was understandable that it got a little bit fragmented, you know, in that last sort of 20-25 because of the amount of, you know, substitutions that were made. But then he'll be pleased with Ibrahim, who came on, looked very comfortable. We went to that Marley Salmon as well. You know, so there's a lot of positives that come out, and obviously Christos Solis getting his first goal in an Arsenal shirt.
As Perry says, plenty of positives to reflect on this particular leg of pre-season. That is the Spanish trip out of the way. Up next, they're out to Dublin for Wednesday's clash against Real Betis. That's 7:30 p.m. UK time. After that, it's the 15th edition of the Emirates Cup against Borussia Dortmund. That's a week tomorrow. And then Cesc Fabregas' Como visit Emirates Stadium on Wednesday, August the 12th, before pre-season ends at Millennium Stadium. the Community Shield against Manchester City, Sunday, August the 16th. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's game here in Spain. It finishes Girona 1, Arsenal 4.